Felicitations, Star Trek fans. You're getting potentially a few more new shows. And this comes in the form of Star Trek Enterprise series. Not to be confused with the actual Star Trek Enterprise series, but this is a rebooted version therein where it talks about the escapades of Kirk and Spock potentially. We're not sure exactly who these people are going to be, but you never know with the new Trek these days. So this is a rumor from CBS All Access that they're going forward with a Star Trek Enterprise series. So that's not unheard of. There's been all sorts of rumors of all sorts of series coming out from the Star Trek universe, which I'll list later. But this is simply the next latest rumor. And they are rumored to have an eye on Jake Cannavale. And I'm not familiar with this fellow, but apparently they were doing a Skype interview with Ethan Peck, and they got along well. Isn't that lovely? Fantastic. In the age of coronavirus, we all get to do our interviews remotely. It's great. So he was playing Toro Calican in The Mandalorian, and he also played Charlie Cruz in Nurse Jackie. I'm sure he's in other things as well. But bravo to Mr. Jake Cannavale for scoring the interview. Yay. So the reported series will follow Captain Christopher Pike and his crew as they take the Enterprise out on a new 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds. So they're just taking this character from Discovery and throwing him into his own series. Yay. How exciting. Here's another tweet by Viacom CBS. I suppose this is the president. Building on Discovery and Picard, we now have 2 additional series in production. This was said in February this year. There's 2 more series in development, so they have 2 coming and 2 already in production. A series of Picard novels, okay, that's to be expected. You're going to get secondary forms of media from the popular forms of media, that totally normal. Simon and Schuster, and a highly anticipated new Star Trek film at Paramount Picks. So these guys are saying, "Yep, this is selling. People like it. People are subscribed to our streaming service." So they had previously announced they were developing a Section 31 series that would spin off of Star Trek Discovery and would star Michelle Yeoh back in 2019. I don't know if anything has actually happened as a result of that. We're not sure. So Kurtzman did leave the door open for a way to bring the Enterprise back. He stated the idea of bringing Ethan back and Anson and Rebecca and the Enterprise. I mean, we loved it so much. And to find a way to do that is definitely something we're thinking about. So they're just trying to bring back the Enterprise ship in their new Trek universe. And here's another quote by Kurtzman. About 3 years ago, when CBS asked me to consider doing another Star Trek, my first instinct was it's got to be a woman, and it's got to be a woman of color. I'm not interested in having another male captain. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want to do a Star Trek story with the main character or a main captain being female and black or this or that, or a person of color. That's just an element. It's not a story. It's just, okay, I want this and I want that for the sake of it, because we're Star Trek and we're progressive and all that crap. It's like, yeah, fine, whatever. No one really cares. Is this done well? That's always been the argument. Are these stories worth telling? Do we like Michael Burnham? Do we like all these other elements? And for me, it doesn't resonate for whatever reason. And I haven't really watched the show aside from an episode or 2. Didn't really make me want to keep watching it. That's it. And I don't know much about the character, but from what I saw, she was a boring Spock ripoff, which in theory sounds great. You got a character who's of this human background, just like Spock. They go to Vulcan, they train and learn their customs. They're logical, they're intelligent, they're smart, they're strong, and it's boring. It doesn't work. So, not to say a Spock-focused story or a Spock-like focused story wouldn't work. I think it would be really cool to have like a Data-focused story and what he does. I think there was an episode, was it called Data's Day or something like that, where he just had his own schedule on the Enterprise and he just went through it. I guess that would be kind of cute in general. I don't know if you could make an entire story about that or an entire series. You would have to really pull up your writing strings, your writing bootstraps, and say, okay, I'm going to really make Data flesh out as a character, a person who's inherently non-human and is very confused about humanity and makes all these bumbling errors about human interactions. So it's possible. I don't know how long it would go for. You'd have to be really good at what you're doing. So here's the Star Trek Discovery Wikipedia, where we have a series of potential franchises that are either in the works or have been rumored. So we have Star Trek Short Treks. I think this is an actual thing. Star Trek Section 31, the Christopher Pike series, and then of course we have the actual shows like Star Trek Picard, Lower Decks. That's probably what I was thinking of, not Short Treks. Lower Decks, then the animated series, we don't know, geared towards the younger audiences, which is strange because Star Trek should be for everyone. That's kind of the beauty of why it was so popular, because you told good stories that could resonate for everyone. So I guess this is going to be a funnier, lighter, not as serious Star Trek world, which doesn't make too much sense because the world of Star Trek Discovery was much more violent, much more graphical, and much more serious compared to Star Trek The Next Generation, for example. A planned series being developed by Stephanie Savage and Josh Schwartz, set in Starfleet Academy, and something called Ceti Alpha V, a limited series based on the character of Khan and the Wrath of Khan storyline. That might be interesting, but yeah, I haven't seen any traction of any of this aside from Picard getting renewed for a second season. And of course, there's all these novels or novellas that have come out. There's all kinds of comic books that have come out as a result of the Captain Pike USS Enterprise storyline. Some video games I don't know about. If we're talking about Star Trek timelines, if anyone knows about the mobile apps or mobile games, pretty much every popular franchise does this nowadays. So there's Star Trek Timelines, there's Star Wars Galaxies, there's the Final Fantasy series, which has at least 3 games out, where they just mishmash all their characters from all their series or franchise and say, oh, it's alternate dimensions, alternate timelines, what have you. So that's how people are still involved in the franchise or series they're in. There's multiple media or new media about these things. And trying to bring back Kirk is just the logical progression of this. They can't do anything new, or what they've done that's new is not too popular. I mean, obviously people are watching the show, or else these things would have stopped after the first season. It's all about money, as we understand. But I'm not too enthusiastic. I hope people of Star Trek fandom appreciate what they're getting. Obviously, they're enjoying some of it, or else it wouldn't be on the air. It wouldn't be on streaming. We wouldn't have this fan base for games and comics and books. So, hey, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe they're going to have better stories. Maybe I might give a crap. Probably not. But here's hoping that we get better writers involved in something which used to be good. An American staple, actually a worldwide staple of science fiction on primetime television. Hopefully coming back as something worth watching, but I don't have high hopes. Thanks for listening, guys. Have yourself a great day.